a lot of what I represented.
Yeah.
A lot of what Michelle and I had tried to project, the values, our thinking about America. My successor seemed to represent the opposite.
Right.
Not seemed, did.
Yeah.
And so I think there was a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, some fear among a big chunk of the country. And one of the problems with the American political system is, although we have political parties, we don't have a parliamentary system. So basically, the president, in my case, Democrat, I leave office, and there's no obvious person who's now the shadow prime minister, the leader of the party for the Democrats, right? And so there were a lot of terrific people who were doing good work, but we have this weird situation where you don't have a designated person who's speaking on behalf of the whole party. So I actually found myself drawn back in to day-to-day politics or commentary more than I had wanted to be.
After the second term.
After in 2017, 2018. And I thought I was going to be able to remove myself more from being out there in public and was going to be able to concentrate on what I really wanted to do, which was coach the next generation of leadership.
Sure.
Move from player to coach, essentially. Yeah. And I kept on being asked to comment on news of the day and look at this outrage and why aren't you out there more and that kind of thing. And look, that's flattering.
Yeah.
And it's an indication that you made a connection with people.
Sure.
But I tried to be a little bit disciplined about recognizing that I'd moved on to a new phase where I did not have formal power. Mm-hmm. I have some, hopefully, moral suasion, some credibility.
Yeah.
But I didn't have formal power. And so more than anything, for the long term, what I could do that would be most helpful would be to start promoting up, lifting up, shining a spotlight on those, that next generation of leadership and talent, new voices. Because part of what also happens is, as you get older, Michelle and I joke about this, no matter how much you want to pretend otherwise, you're starting to get a little out of touch. You're not completely, plugged into the zeitgeist.
And it happens naturally.
It just happens.
Yeah.
I mean, look, his starting point is, let me say what I believe, and it doesn't mean that anybody in public life, and by the way, anybody who's married, anybody who's in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you can't practice the art of diplomacy, that you can't say it
compromise
in ways that are more likely to be received.
Right.
But it I think now more than ever, what people long for, and the word authenticity gets overused, I think. What people long for is some core integrity that seems absent. Just a sense that, the person seems to walk the walk, doesn't just talk the talk.
Well, there's a vulnerability to that.
Somehow, we figured out how to be so annoying.
We annoyed the average American into fascism. Yeah,
which cracked me up because I wasn't as funny about saying this, but even 4, 5, 6 years ago, I'd say, you can't just be a scold all the time. You can't constantly lecture people without acknowledging that you've got some blind spots too, and that life's messy, and and so the vulnerability, I think, comes in saying, all right, I've got some core convictions, I've got beliefs that I'm not going to compromise, but I'm also not going to assert that I am so righteous and so pure